Get ready.
Welcome back to another video where today we're going to try and answer an age-old question. Why aren't there more dark rides in UK theme parks? Before we get into the video, we would ask you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and smash the like button if you enjoy the content. With that being said, let's jump into the video. It's well known that the UK is home to a number of top tier theme parks with some thrilling attractions to boot. Parks such as Alton Towers, Thorpe Park and Chessington World of Adventures are highly regarded alongside their global counterparts. With that being said, one thing that we found interesting when comparing UK parks with other parks across the world is that there is an obvious lack of dark rides in UK parks' attraction lineups. As boat lovers of dark rides in UK theme parks, we wanted to investigate what the reason for this might be and why there aren't more dark rides in the UK. Get ready. Our thoughts on some potential reasons. Unfortunately, we don't work for Merlin or any other associated organisations that own UK parks. It's pretty much impossible for us to say for certain what the exact reasons are for the lack of dark rides. However, after doing some initial research and analysis, we have a few potential reasons that we think may have been a factor in this, especially in the past. Firstly, when you look at the top UK theme parks, you can see a clear lean towards thrill and adrenaline. This often juxtaposes traditional theme park sentiments, such as fantasy and wonder, and in some cases theming, although a lot of UK parks are really well themed. For this reason, it makes sense that parks would prioritise coasters and thrill attractions over dark rides if they felt that this is what the majority of the audience wanted. Secondly, and following on from the first point, in our opinion it's a lot easier to promote and generate excitement around a coaster than it is a dark ride. Some viewers may disagree, but if you think about it, there are many different elements that go into the overall dark ride experience, such as theming, music, smell, lighting, story, etc. Compare this to a coaster, where the main elements that determine whether it's good or not to the general population are often merely stats. This usually encompasses coaster height, speed, and in the past maybe inversions. Therefore, by nature, we already know everyday visitors will straight away associate a new coaster with a thrilling experience. Add on some messaging around the key factors just mentioned, and you've got yourself an excited audience without having to be overly creative. Finally, we would argue that cost is definitely taken into consideration. On average, a decent coaster can cost about $15 to $20 million to build. On the other hand, the average cost to build a better than average dark ride is said to be about $30 million. Looking at this objectively, if a UK theme park believes that the majority of its guests prefer and get more excited about thrill rides than dark rides, and the overall cost of building a thrill ride will be less than a dark ride, then it really seems like a no-brainer that coasters and thrill rides should be prioritised over dark rides. Again, we can only speculate on why we think there is an obvious favouritism towards other non-dark attractions in UK theme parks, but thinking logically, it's difficult to argue against this. It often makes perfect business sense. Should UK theme parks have more dark rides? This really is a matter of opinion. People who like coasters will have one opinion, while people who prefer dark rides will have another. However, in our opinion, we definitely think there is room for more investment in dark rides across the main parks. With that being said, Alton Towers has just opened its new 4D dark ride attraction called Gangsta Granny. We feel the opening of Gangsta Granny is definitely a positive sign. But it's not the only reason we think having more top tier dark ride attractions would be a benefit. So we wanted to list a few others. Number 1. Dark rides are an all-weather option. In a country where rain is never far off, having attractions that aren't weather dependent can only be a good thing. I'm sure all of us have had an experience where bad weather has led to our favourite coaster being closed, or just made the ride experience less enjoyable. Dark rides typically don't have these types of issues, and can be a nice alternative when the weather takes a turn. Number 2. Dark rides naturally add more theming to a park. One of the best things about any dark ride is the theming and imagination that goes into their design. These attractions can be a nice gear change for guests instead of just constantly going on thrill rides. As well as this, dark rides can also lead to additional theming in the areas surrounding the ride, which again helps to give guests a more immersive experience. Number 3. Dark rides are for everyone. Simply put, if you visit a park with young children or perhaps elderly relatives, then thrill rides and coasters may not be suitable. For this reason, dark rides could be a great way to allow the whole family or group of people to enjoy an attraction together. Will we see more dark rides in the future? Again, it's hard to say for sure. As we alluded earlier in the video, the opening of Gangsta Granny at Alton Towers could highlight that there is a changing trend among the top UK theme parks. However, this is far from concrete, and while there will always be a new dark ride opened at different intervals, we aren't 100% convinced they will take any more priority than they currently do. With that being said, studies have shown that millennials and people falling into the Gen Z category seek experiences in everything they do. They don't just want the speed and the adrenaline, but also a story to go along with it. Because of this, we're starting to now see parks build attractions that merge the concept of coaster and dark ride together. For example, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios Florida. We actually did a video on this ride in our YouTube series What Makes This Ride So Good, which you can see in the top right of the screen now. To conclude, we aren't certain what route UK theme parks will go down over the next couple of years. We don't think there's going to be a drastic change, but we wouldn't be surprised if we do see some kind of an uplift in new dark ride attractions. It all really comes down to the data these parks have and the changing attitudes of guests. At the end of the day, the parks want high attendances along with happy guests, and know that in order to do this, they need to constantly deliver what the majority demands, whether that's thrill rides such as Nemesis Inferno or dark rides like Gangsta Granny. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our Alton Towers Hidden Gems video on screen now. Let us know in the comments below what your opinion is on this, and if you think there should be more dark rides in UK parks. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already.